Hello there everyone, Aira here, and I am finally presenting you with my very first video in the A Good Bundle series. I'm going to try to put this up today, so hopefully by the time you see this, there will still be a day left to buy the bundle. I'm sorry it's taken me so long to get these videos up, but it's not for lack of trying, I promise you that. This is the third time now that I am recording this video. Unfortunately, the first two times I had technical difficulties and lost all of my footage. So, that's several hours of work tragically just vanished. So, I'm not going to do an in-depth look at this game because I've already played it quite a bit, and honestly I don't think it's that interesting to watch. It is No Pineapple Left Behind, and it is a satire of the education system in America, specifically of No Child Left Behind. If you are not familiar with No Child Left Behind in America, I'm not sure if it's still being used. But I hope not. But if it is, or in any case, certainly it was, the system wherein a school with low average grades gets less funding from the government, and a school with higher average grades gets more funding from the government, and they said that was supposed to motivate schools to work harder. As it turns out, the problem was never that schools weren't working hard enough. Anybody who voluntarily becomes a teacher is not in it for the money. Let me tell you that. I'm a teacher myself. I don't work in America, but I certainly grew up in America, and I know what the school system there is like. And I know what it's like to teach in an environment where you don't have resources and funding. And, yeah, so basically what ends up happening is the schools which are poor and don't have funding and resources and materials and can't afford to pay teachers enough end up with lower average grades, and under No Child Left Behind, they would therefore lose even more money because they weren't performing as well as the government thought they should. So that's basically how it worked. This is an interesting little game as satire. I don't know that it's a very fun game as a game, to be honest. I'm going to go ahead and get us in here. I've already done the first few levels. I'm just going to do this one again because it's the last one that I did, and I think it kind of shows generally how the game works pretty well without having to go through the basics. I don't know what this one's like yet, and I don't want to have to try to figure out new mechanics. I don't know if there are new mechanics in this one. Probably. But in any case, we're going to do this one. And basically the goal here, you have to earn $1,000. And that's not easy to do. Fourth Crusade sacked Constantinople in 1204. It was the worst. Oh, I bet. It probably was just terrible. Okay, so we've got our school here. It is 6:46 in the morning, and we don't have any teachers. There's two classes, there's math and English. And the first thing we have to do is hire 2 teachers, and we don't have very good options here. Take the highest ones. Now this is a problem that I have with the game. I have just selected these 2, but there's no indication that I have. There's a lot of little things like that were kind of not well thought out or well coded along the way, unfortunately. Alright, this is a little tutorial. I already know this, so I'm going to go ahead and skip the tutorial. Basically, there are children. Children look like this. They have their grades. They have a quest each, something that they want. Usually it's they want to make a friend or they have a crush on someone, want to ask them out. Personal traits. Sexual orientation is a common one. Strong, weak. There are also traits that have no bearing on the game, like agile. And I think that's an interesting commentary in and of itself, that the audience for this game is going to be people who play games, of course, and I think anybody who plays games knows that being agile is a super important and useful thing in the world and in life. But in school, in this particular school, it doesn't lead to any reward. It doesn't help in any way to be agile or full of energy or anything like that if you're in this type of school. Also, there's social traits, usually friends or enemies or been teased lately. As you can see, each of these lowers their grades. This is an aspect of the game I disagree with. In my experience, students with more friends tend to do better in school because they have more support and they feel better about themselves. It is true that a busy social life can lead to lower grades in certain situations, but the fact that it's automatic, I disagree with. So there's that, and then there are pineapples. Pineapples just get grades, and then that's it. They're never late for class, they don't have social lives, and nothing that they can do will detract from their grades. All that matters is how well the teacher teaches. And as you'll see, the ultimate conclusion of this game is the only way for this system to work, where school gets rewarded for good grades and punished for bad grades, is to set it up so that there's nothing outside of your control. So these children, they have all these quests and socialize and stuff. There's nothing you can do about it. You can watch them, but you can't help them with their lives, which, you know, depending on the situation, depending on the school and all that, may or may not be true. Certainly in the situation where I am now, there are some things I can help my students with, but most things it's not that I don't want to or that I don't even know how, more it's that I'm just not allowed. You're not allowed to interfere in a lot of ways. So there is some truth to that. You can't control everything, and therefore you can't control how well students are going to do in class. You can only do your best. But since we need to control everything, the only way for that to really work is to turn everyone into pineapples. And you can do that in different ways to kind of get them all turned into pineapples. They can gain humanity, of course, and turn back into children, just as children can lose humanity and turn into pineapples. So that's kind of how it works. The more tired a teacher is, the less likely they are to succeed in casting their spell, which is teaching their class for the day. I'm going to go ahead and hire a vice principal. Using one of these influence points, you gain one back every day. Vice principal, I'm going to stick here. We'll unpause. And the vice principal has a spell that they can cast, which will automatically send a child to class. Which is kind of funny. That is kind of what a vice principal does in my experience. They stand in the hallway and yell at the kids to go to class. So you can see all the pineapples go straight to their desks. The teachers are there ready. I need to pause here. I need to change their spell. They have the televisor spell on right now, which is pretty funny. Because that's definitely what a teacher does when they're really tired. Memorizer is a little bit better. Still not great, but it actually has a chance to improve grades, whereas this does not. It just won't lose grades if it fails. As you can see, neither of my teachers have a super lot of energy, so hopefully this spell will succeed. And the energy they regain each day is dependent entirely on how much you pay them. So we're already losing quite a bit of money. I'm going to pay them each enough that they can gain at least 20 energy back for tomorrow, because that's how much they're going to lose today at most. Yeah. Just double check here. Yeah, okay. So we'll go ahead and get started. I will fast forward. This is kind of it, actually, which is why I say it's not that fun to watch. It's not that fun as a game. We'll watch the teachers cast their spells since the bell rang here. There we go. Success, success. Grades go up. Awesome. We're going to leave the vice principal in the hallway, and she will automatically cast that brain hack at the kids to make them go to class as soon as it's time to go to class. So they finish their lunch, they go to their second class, so the students swap rooms, basically. Teachers cast another spell. Success, that was lucky. Success. Grades in this room still went down because the kids have too many factors bringing their grades down, mostly friends. Which, again, I don't really agree with. And then the teachers have things that they can do called lasers, which can get rid of their friendships. It can remove the tease trait, which I feel is a nice thing, but they can't do that during class. They can only do it in the hallway. They can help the kids cheat, but if they get caught, you lose money. End the child quest and swaps it with a new quest. You have to micromanage like crazy to make that happen, and this isn't interesting enough to bother. But for example, we can have this kid... Which kid here? I say this kid, I haven't chosen a kid yet. This kid has a lot of friends, has been teased twice. This one's got a ton of friends. Okay, so we will unpause and we will, Oh, didn't work. Okay, we have to select the teacher first. There we go. That kid just lost a friend and gained some grades, basically. I'm going to increase this teacher's pay a little bit more so that tomorrow she'll have higher energy. And last thing you do once classes are over is you fire your vice principal. Because if you fire your vice principal before the end of the day, you don't have to pay them, and they cost $2,000 a day. That's a huge loss. So that's basically it. As you can see so far, we're losing money because the grades are too low. Over time, more kids slowly get turned into pineapples as a result of being sent to class constantly instead of being allowed to go to the bathroom and stuff. The teachers gain experience and they learn better spells so that they can bring the grades up better. But really the biggest factor is not so much the teachers as the kids' social lives, which is a little unbalanced. It is also important that the teachers are rested. If you don't pay the teachers enough, they don't have enough energy, they can't cast the spells they need to bring the grades up. And yeah, you see all the pineapples file right in. We hire a new vice principal, stick them in the hallway, they start sending kids to class. And you just basically rinse and repeat. You keep an eye on the energy levels of the teachers, upgrade the spells whenever possible, and pretty much just wait until the grades go up. More of the kids will turn into pineapples slowly. And that's about it. There's not really any more depth than that, at least not at the point that I've gotten to so far. Where's this kid going? Ooh, if you've selected the vice principal, you have to manually do this to the kids. So it's better to unselect the principal and they'll do it automatically. Vice principal, sorry. Send them to class. After the bell rings, you have to put them in this hallway because this is where the kids will sneak out to. So yeah, that's basically it. As I said, it's interesting as satire. It's not super fun as a game. It's really just like really repetitive. There's all this time in between the lessons and stuff where there's nothing you can really do. I mean, if you want, you can read about the kids and stuff. The game, in order to succeed at the game, you basically need to turn all the kids into pineapples for the most part. But there's no, like, aside from the social commentary of, like, isn't it horrible that we have to turn the kids into pineapples? There's no punishment for turning them all into pineapples. As a matter of fact, if you turn them all into pineapples, the game is super easy. So, again, it's intended as social commentary. It is not intended as a game, really, I think. It's not a game that I would want to sit down and play. This teacher's got way more than I intended to give. So, yeah, I mean, that's basically it. If you think it looks interesting, if you want to support the creator must be a teacher. I don't have any information about the developer of the game. However, I think, oh, I haven't got a vice principal today. You can see all the kids mill around out here and they can be late to class. And if they're late to class, they automatically get an F for the day, which is a bit much, I think. And they also increase their humanity, which again is it's a bit extreme, I think. So yeah, there you go. That's no pineapple left behind. I think I'm gonna end it off there because I've played through it quite a lot more. I've beat this level, and it just takes forever. It's just really grindy. You have to slowly get the grades up and get the teacher's experience up, and then eventually you will finally start making a profit instead of a loss. And yeah, that's all. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I will try to pick something a little more fun to watch for the next video. But I did want to try this out because, like I said, I am a teacher and I'm interested in the politics and the systems and the problems they have. And yeah, it's an interesting game. It's an interesting take on the system, and it's an interesting way to show people what the system is like from the point of view of somebody who's really not happy with it, obviously. So yeah. If there's another game that you would really like to see me play from a good bundle, I will put a link in the description to the list of games. Please feel free to have a look. Please feel free to make a suggestion. If you want to see me play a game, I'll play it. And that's about it for this time, I think. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye, everybody. Class dismissed.